saying that. So I started practicing my Spanish. And then it was announced that Bad Bunny was doing the Super Bowl. And I was like, this is cute. This is cute. And then also the way the world is set up right now, which is very strange. People are they're weaponizing people who are multilingual, especially people who have a Latin ethnic background. And it's just weird. And so rather than be fearful about being a Spanish speaker or worried about what the wackadoodles are up to, I decided to lean into that. And I was like, well, I don't really know any Bad Bunny songs, but I can practice my Spanish and get cuter. And then it was interesting. My sister and I were having a conversation about that. And I was saying, oh, is there like a Spanish club? And there really isn't. I mean, I know that there is. There's meetups everywhere. But my intention was to create one and create the environment, something that I want to create a community around people who want to learn language, who want to practice with each other, who want to learn about the cultures, and who want to also plan trips together so that we can practice in real places. And then also, because we're going on trips together, to make sure that we feel and look our best. So there's sort of a trifecta here in Club Start People. The one element is to learn the language, and we're dedicating an entire year. Well, the way the Pimsleur programs are set up, they're 5 months. They're in 30-day increments. You practice 30 minutes per day, every day for 30 days, and then will have completed Spanish 1 and 2, 3, 4, and 5. Bad Bunny's concert and the Super Bowl halftime is in 4 months. So we will not have completed the whole 5-month program by the time the Super Bowl happens, but we will have established a general understanding of the language. So my thought process was, we meet every Wednesday for Spanish Club from tentatively 6 to 8, because I said this is new. I am about the vibe of seeing where it goes. Like, if this is the first day, like this is the intro session. So if we gather enough people, 10, 15, 20, 2,500, whatever it's going to be, that's why I'm doing these initial sessions live on all of the socials, just to see who's interested. And then if it makes sense, we can, once we have sort of an established group who are really dedicated to doing this, we can bring it to a more private situation. But for right now, I'm broadcasting wide to see who's interested. So the first part of this is learning Spanish. I'm working on a Pimsleur affiliation so that we can get discounts if you want to use that program. But if you have another Spanish language program that you want to use for yourself, or you already have one and you just fell off like I did with French, and whatever, we're not going to meet about that. That minutia is up to you. How you want to learn the language is up to you. My suggestion is Pimsleur because that's what I'm using, but you can use whatever works for you. The second part of this is fitness, and I chose an Afro-Latina, Masi Arias, who has True Training. I am an affiliate with Masi, and I am doing the booty workout, the 5-day 60. It's 5 days a week, upper body and lower body, and it's a 60-day program that we will do over and over. But you can use whatever training program works for you. The rules really are you working out 5 days a week. That could be walking. That I'm doing the weight training, resistance training. You can literally do whatever you want to do. Then the third part of this is food. And practicing and immersing ourselves in cooking. So on Sundays around the same time from 6 to 8, we're doing a Club Star People Sunday dinner where we will be learning a recipe. And I am actually going to post the recipe. I guess I'm gonna post a recipe. And it is a Puerto Rican recipe because we're starting with Puerto Rico. A traditional Puerto Rican recipe. I'm going to be plant-basing it. I found a gorgeous website that has Puerto Rican dishes that are plant-based. You can do it any way you want. I'm just going to tell you what we're working on so that you can go get the ingredients on when, you know, you're going to find out what the recipe is on Wednesday so you can get the ingredients. So on Sunday, we'll be cooking it together. And I'm doing it old school. Like we have the ingredients, we work together and we prepare this thing together. I'm on StreamYard right now. I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to make it interactive, but like I said, this is a work in progress. We're just gonna vibe. We're gonna see how it works. I didn't want to do Zoom straight away because I wanted to cast the net wide on socials to see who's interested. And I know once we get going and we get into a rhythm, more and more people are going to be interested in joining. And like I said, we can make the group more private once we have an established group of people. It's up to you. So that's the trifecta. We are practicing our Spanish every day. We are working out every day. Those things are individual, but we come together on Wednesday. And Spanish Club on Wednesday is about not only holding ourselves accountable, how's your week going? How are things, how are things with you? That's where the chat is going to be valuable. I'm going to invite people who are native Spanish speakers, people who are well-versed in Puerto Rico to teach us things. Once a month, we're going to get a book, an Afro-Boricuan book, and it's going to be part of our book club. So the idea is that we are going to immerse ourselves in Puerto Rican culture. Thank you, sir. We're going to immerse ourselves in Puerto Rican culture, Afro-Boricuan culture, most of all. We're going to be reading. We're going to be learning things. I'm going to be bringing guests. Something. Okay, welcome to Club Star People. I do have applause, but I'm not using it right now. This is Sunday dinner, aka home ec. My name is MB McKee. That video that you were just watching was from our very first Club Star People meeting. We don't need. I mean, some of what was on there is still true. I'll just say that, and some of it has evolved. The parts that have evolved for this particular Sunday dinner, the home ec part, is because we're doing it live together, and it is a journey. When I first started this, I was practicing recipes and beforehand, like testing them so that I knew what I was doing, and I realized that took the fun out of it. So the recipes that we're doing are not necessarily from Puerto Rico. But they are Afro-Latinidad diasporic. And it just so happens that this week we are doing Arroz con Gandules, which is a Puerto Rican dish, from what I understand. It's basically pigeon peas and rice. And it's interesting because when I was growing up, my dad used to always talk about pigeon peas and rice. And because his people are from the Bahamas. So this is a Caribbean dish that it has African and Taino history, that lineage. And so that's what we're making today. It is a traditional Puerto Rican dish
featuring pigeon peas, rice, and a unique blend of spices. The recipe that I have, and if you went to patreon.com/mvmckee and you watched our our Spanish Club meeting from Wednesday with Senor Espanol, the recipe is on there as well. And if you want to join Club Star people, if you're new here and you're like, what is going on? What are you doing, Envy? You can join at patreon.com/mvmckee. And it's free to join, but yes, there are membership tiers if Spirit is moving you to do that. But what I want to tell you, this is our very fourth Sunday dinner. We have already made papas rellenas. We have made mofongo. We have made quimbombo. Last week we made quimbombo, and this week we are making arroz con gandules. And if you watched our Spanish Club meeting on Wednesday, Senor Espanol so astutely pointed out that if there are two R's in a word, like in zorro, which is, we learned the word for fox, then that means you got to get your R's together. It's a rrr. So it's arroz con gandules. So prayerfully I pronounced that correctly, but I'm getting better. I practice my Spanish every day. And this is the other thing. We normally don't talk about Spanish practice on Sundays, but I'm here to just kind of like say, first of all, how are you? Qué pasa? And the other part I'm here to say is, if you've kind of fallen off, get back on. While we do have a year before our first for real class trip, do it every day. That's the best way to do it. And I mentioned last week that I felt myself getting frustrated because I felt like I do the Pimsleur program, and there's a lot of like, how do you say things that came from previous lessons. I think I'm on lesson 12 because I kept starting over. And what I realized is that I'm doing myself a disservice by starting over, because when you're learning a language, say as a child, you just immersed in it. You hear things and you may not know what they are. People ask you questions and you may not know what the answer is, but you keep moving forward. And so rather than take this on as a recovering perfectionist, I'm taking this on as a curious learner. And I found that I'm more relaxed, and I actually do remember more than I think I do. And if I don't remember, I just keep going to the next one, and because it's repetitive. So I'm saying that if you have fallen off on your Spanish practice, get back on it. If you have fallen off on your workouts, get back on it. I'm working on things behind the scenes to make this more interactive, so you feel like you have an accountability partner, accountability group behind you. I haven't figured out everything, but I'm working through it. I have gotten myself, look at that. I got the thing I said I was going to get, that I can turn this around so you can see my pot better. You see what I did? You see how that, see? Improvements every week. And just bear in mind, we have 13 members now. We keep going. We've been doing this for not quite 30 days. So technically a month, but not quite. We're on our second month now. But I want to say we've been doing this for like 28 days. And we've already gotten some traction on YouTube, which is really cool. We're in our thousands of views now. I think we had over 5,000 views of all the Club Star people, between the shorts and the full videos. So we're making progress, and that's really cool. So we're looking for you. If you are someone who wants to learn the language of Spanish with other grown people who are interested in learning new things, you want to immerse yourselves and learn new things about the culture, about the food. So when we travel, we are fabulous travelers. We are, kind and generous travelers. We're not going places so we can get something. We're going places to bring something. and you want to get tips and things on how to improve your Spanish learning, Club Star People is definitely for you. And you want to look fabulous doing it because you're working out. So patreon.com/MV has all the details about Club Star People. So I said all that. Today we are making easy arroz con gandules. And the recipe is actually, I think, in the description. I'm pretty sure I did that. I'm trying to switch things up and do new things. My intention for this home ec situation is that we do them together. And we're still new, so everybody doesn't know that we're doing this. And folks that might be like, oh, I want to make arroz con gandules. I want to make pigeon peas and rice. You may not have all the ingredients because you didn't know we were doing this. I'm working out my schedule so that I can promote it more before just showing up here. But this is what we got right now. So what we need for this is we're going to make soffrito. The soffrito, I've made some dishes already, like the quimbombo last week called for soffrito, but I didn't make it. I just used the onion. I mean, it's onion, green pepper, and garlic. And I just did that. I didn't blend anything. But this week, I'm going to make soffrito because this rice dish, I feel like I want to be in the spirit of it. I have this recipe that I put in the comments, not in the comments, in the description. I actually halved mine. This is supposed to serve 12. I do not need to serve 12 anything. And it also, this recipe is brown rice. I did soak and clean my brown rice, so I'm going to use the brown rice, but I only used a cup and a half instead of 3 cups. And I found another recipe that used olives with pimento, so I got that, and I'm going to put that in there too because most of the recipes it doesn't have to. If you don't like olives, I actually like olives. I didn't think I liked olives with pimento, but I do. I tasted it. I was like, okay, we'll go here. We'll go here. So what I'm going to do right now, I probably don't need to do this, is I have my green pepper. I started a little while the video was, the intro video was going. So I have 4 cloves of garlic because I like garlic. If you don't like garlic, use 3. Or, I have the recipe, but I added a little extra because I like the taste of garlic in my food. And garlic is really good for you. It is anti-inflammatory. It's antimicrobial. It's I want to say it's antimicrobial. I want to say it's antiviral, but I don't know if that's true. So don't quote me on that. I can't remember all the things garlic is. So I'm going to rough chop this garlic because I'm going to blend it. And I'm going to rough chop this green pepper. And I'm going to also remind you that this is not a cooking show. I'm not doing this as a cooking show. I'm doing this as a club, I'm going to say benefit. I'm doing this to get you interested in trying new things. If you are if your background is Puerto Rican or Caribbean, like, Afro Latinidad Caribbean. I don't know if that's a thing. You can tell me in the comments how you make your arroz con gandules, pigeon peas and rice. And I don't remember. I don't know why my dad knew about pigeon peas and rice. I mentioned earlier that my dad's people are Bahamian. Some of them. And I wonder if this is if this is a general Caribbean situation. You can let me know if you know, because I don't. I did look up the history of this dish. What I read was it's normally served around Christmas. Is that true? And holidays, it's like one of those, and it had, like most of the dishes that I learned, it has some sort of pork in there, which I'm not doing because I don't eat meat. Right now I am peeling this onion. I don't know why I didn't do this earlier. Because the onions, you know how onions go. You do things. So I put my peppers and garlic in my blender. And I peeled off the skin of my onion. I'm going to rough chop this. Yes, there it is. There it is. I don't have anything to cry about. Here it is. And I did mention that for those of you who do not know who I am, my name is Envy McKee. I am a 20-year broadcaster. And I already shared why I started Club Star People. I was looking for a place for grown melanated people of all melanations who are interested in the Afro-Latinidad diaspora, who also want to learn the language in a group and want to travel together. And because we travel together, we want to look fabulous too. So we working out. So that was the thing. I didn't find anything, so I made one. So here we are. 13 members strong, honey. So I'm going to blend this. It just said put the things in. It didn't say I had to do anything else. You don't need no oil. Oh, cilantro too. Hold on. I have cilantro. She's not cute. How much cilantro do I need? Well, this is going to be very cilantro heavy. It said 1 bunch of cilantro. And I'm going to say I have a half a bunch. It might be a little more than a half a bunch. But you're going in here. So, you can't see it, but trust that it's happening. I'm making a smoothie. All right, I can say I made some soffrito. I have a I guess my next question is, how smooth is it supposed to be? I saw soffrito in the store and it looked pretty smooth. This smells delicious. Oh my goodness. It looks pretty smooth. I don't think it's supposed to be a smoothie consistency. This is what I got. So it looks a little bit like salsa. All right, so I made soffrito. I hope. I didn't look up how to do that because it just said put the ingredients in the blender or the food processor. So I'm just gonna go with that. So now I'm putting some oil in my grandmother's pot. Yes, she has lived a life. Yes, she has experienced many things. This pot is like over 70 years old. Oops. So I'm putting my oil in here. I turn on the heat. This says, so I did step 1. Step 2, I'm placing my olive oil and 6 tablespoons of soffrito in an 8-quart saucepan. So this is going to be 3. This is going to be 3 tablespoons. And I'm doing half. See, just like home ec. I'm halving this recipe, so I need, and this is a half tablespoon. So I'm going to do, that's 2 of them will be 1. 2 will be 2, and 3 will be 3. So I have 3 tablespoons of soffrito, and it said that the rest of this can be put in a airtight container and can be kept refrigerated for up to 2 weeks or frozen for up to 6 months. Isn't that great? So I need the Scorpio season. So we're gonna use my Scorpio star spatula. And it said to cook this for 3 to 4 minutes to release oils. Okay. Okay. So that's what we're doing. Some other information that I found about arroz con gandules. It didn't tell me that. Wait. It didn't tell me that either. Let me find the other one. Some of these websites. Okay, what are gandules? Gandules, or pigeon peas, are vital to many Puerto Rican dishes. Arroz con gandules is one of the most popular dishes that uses them. These small green legumes, like this. Don't use this brand. This is the only brand I can find. And if it's the only brand you can find, I got you. But I'm not. How do I make this? I'm not promoting them though, because they're weirdos. Did you see that? I have 2 cans of this because the larger recipe that I'm having required 2, so I got 2, but I don't need 2, so I'm going to use 1 of these. And from what I understand, you're supposed to leave the liquid in as well. Oh, maybe I should tell you what other things I have. I have some garlic powder and some onion powder. I use tomato paste instead of tomato sauce because it's more. The flavor is less other stuff in it. Does that make sense? It's just pure. And then I'm using a half of a sazon packet because I used some for the mofongo last time. So I'm going to use the rest of this. Or did I use it for that? What did I use this for? Anyway, I'm going to use the rest of this for this dish. And what else do I need for this? Tomato sauce, Spanish seasoning, uncooked brown rice. Yeah, so I have everything. Oh, and water. 3 cups of water. This already smells delicious. I don't know what blending these things together does, but it smells fabulous. I'm going to put this down so you can see it. See it? See how bright green it is? Isn't that pretty? My goodness. Hi, I like my new thing. Okay, so let me finish reading. Gandules originally come from Africa. Oh, these small green legumes have a slightly nutty flavor and a firm texture that add depth. Gandules originally come from Africa. They made their way to the Caribbean, where they became a key ingredient in Puerto Rican cooking. Not only do they add unique taste, but gandules are also packed with nutrients. They are rich in protein, fiber, and essential vitamins, making them a heart-healthy meal addition. Gandules are a great plant-based source, perfect for meat and vegetarian dishes. What is this from? Healthy Rican. That's the website I'm reading from, Healthy Rican. So that's why they're adding these elements. Gandules are a great plant-based protein. I already said that. For Puerto Ricans, gandules are more than just an ingredient. They are a versatile and healthy food that plays a big role in the rich flavors of Puerto Rican cuisine. So the key ingredients in Puerto Rican arroz con gandules, rice, pigeon peas, which is gandules, Puerto Rican soffrito, which is garlic, onions. Oh, this says, what is ají? Ají? Ají dulce. And culantro and cilantro are also added for extra flavor. And annatto oil, which I do not have, so I'm just using olive oil. And seasonings. Okay. We'll learn a little bit more later because this is starting to do stuff. So let me go on to the next step. Pour 1 can of tomato sauce and a Spanish seasoning packet into the saucepan. Mix well. Add the rice to the mixture and stir it until the rice is coated. Now this says add 3 cups of rice, but this is a 6-cup dish. So should I add half of the rice first? Welcome to home ec. I'm gonna follow the instructions. This is not a cowboy cooking moment, except I'm still doing it because I don't always follow directions. Sometimes I follow directions. I follow spirit directions. I follow my ancestral directions. So the original recipe called for a 15-ounce can of tomato sauce. This is a 6-ounce can of tomato paste. I'm not doing any math. It'll be enough. What is tomato paste? It's condensed tomatoes that they actually make tomato sauce out of. So this is going to be tomato-y. All right, so I have not added any water, so I think I'm gonna add some water to mimic what tomato sauce would be. All right, the color is changing now. I see it. Here, look. See it? Color is changing a little bit. That green and the red. Oh, maybe this is why it's Christmassy, because it's green and it's red. Yes, this is looking like pasta sauce a little bit. Okay. And what did they say next? I did in the seasoning packet. So I have my sazon. I don't know what your experience is, how you're looking, because I can't really see what the camera angles are. I want you to have a better look. I want you to look at my unsexy stove at all. This stove is not sexy, but that's okay. Can I just say that even though we don't like this brand, Sazon adds such a gorgeous color to things. Like it is just, oh my God, absolutely. See that? That looks pretty. And it smells good. Okay. So we did Okay, so now they want me to put half of the rice. I've already washed this rice. So I'm just gonna eyeball it and put half of it in here. Maybe half. This is not the right container to put rice. Just vibe. Just vibe. I'm doing it. Okay. That's about half. Did not set myself up for success, but it's fine. Okay. This. Let's put this on. It's got water all over everything. All right. So I'm coating. They said to coat the rice. And then what? This doesn't make any sense. Coat the rice. Add 3 cups of rice to the mixture and stir until the rice is coated. Okay. This doesn't make any sense. Oh no, it's all the rice. My bad. She added stuff, wording that made me confused. No, you add all of the rice. Gotcha. Gotcha. All right, good. I think I got all of it. All right. If not, we got enough. So this is brown rice, and I soaked the brown rice for a while. And this rice really isn't that long grain. It's not short grain though. It's like middle grain. So it's all the rice is coated. And then what? This looks good. Okay. It's coated. And then stir in pigeon peas and add boiling water and cover the pot with aluminum foil and a pot lid. All right, so here's my question. If you add the pigeon peas, oh, let me put this up. Here's my question. If you add the pigeon peas with the liquid, will you require less liquid as far as the hot water is concerned? I think I'm going to strain this. I'm going to rinse them a little bit too. So I strained and rinsed the beans just a little. And I strained the pigeon peas and I rinsed them just a little bit so that I can just add the water. Okay, that's what I'm gonna do. Let me get so instead of 6 cups of water, I'm doing 3 cups of water. And I have a thing that does hot water, so I don't actually have to boil water. It didn't say anything about seasonings. So I didn't get adobo because I have Tony's. So this is 2 cups of hot water. I didn't even think about what we're gonna do while we're waiting for this to cook. Didn't even think of that. Oh, I have a video that I can play that talks about the history of Spanish language. I'm gonna put 1 more cup of water in this. Oh, you know what? I have been wanting. Is that another cup? No, that's half a cup. I have been wanting to talk about salsa a little bit. I mean, I don't want to talk about it because I'm not an expert in salsa. I used to dance. Look how good this looks. Okay. Look. You see it? Look how good this looks. And this is just, I added some hot water to the rice and the gandules. So we got, it looks fabulous. So this is stirred. Yeah, all of this together. And the next part is, it says, stop doing that. It says, cover the pot with aluminum foil and a pot lid. Reduce simmer. Well, it's okay. It is kind of boiling, so we reduce it to simmer and cook for 45 minutes until rice is tender. This is gonna take forever, but the prep part is done. That was pretty easy. I made this soffrito. I called myself doing extra things. But I made the soffrito from scratch. That didn't take no time at all. And just adding the ingredients. And brown rice takes longer to cook anyway. So I did cover with aluminum foil. And I did add the top. You can see. See? It's like that. So now let us go to the other desk because there's nothing for me to do in here. And we can learn more about this dish. And then I'll also play a video about, salsa. Why not? Right? Oh, but what about the olives? Wait a minute. We got to put the olives in. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. All right. I'm going to cut up some olives because this recipe didn't call for it. And I forgot that I got them anyway. So I don't know how many olives. I like olives, but I won't put that many olives. So I'm going to, where's my knife? Cut up. Do you see why this is home ec and not Sunday dinner? Although I did say last week that this vision I have for this space on Sunday is I inherited when my dad passed and my Uncle Bob both. When my Uncle Bob passed, he had like a record collection that was just out of this world. My dad used to have a record collection as well. So I have a lot of records in storage, and I mean of every genre you can think of, and there's a lot of Afro-Caribbean music. There's a lot. There's just name it. And so I was thinking about, because I have this record hutch in my entryway. I was thinking about being able to play records in the background, so there's like music going on, so it's like a vibe, and have candles where you're not gonna be able to see it, but just give that vibe of we're in the house on a Sunday preparing a meal together. And I don't drink, but you can get you a little something if that's what you like, and we just cooking together. And I know that on this platform, which is StreamYard, this is how many olives I cut up. I hope that's enough, because I don't know if I want every bite. All right, so put the olives in. Let me stir this up. Open them. Yeah, that's fine. That's good. They kind of match the color of the gandules. Okay, so we're going to do this again. Hold a minute. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to switch the... Oh. I don't think I can because I'm using two. Let me think. I didn't think this through. I'm going to solve this problem. The way I set up this situation is I don't use the main camera because there's feedback from this one. And so I turn that one off. All right, let's learn some more about this rice dish. I'm not standing here for 45 minutes. I'm not doing that. I want to learn about the African history. I have another phone. The African history of arroz con gandules. Arroz con gandules. I'm feeling more confident in my Spanish, by the way. Okay, so it says the history of arroz con gandules has a significant African influence, as enslaved West Africans brought pigeon peas, gandules, and their culinary traditions to the Caribbean. These Africans brought their knowledge of legumes as a crucial protein source and their rice and bean cooking methods, like those used in jollof rice, to the region. The dish represents a fusion of African staples with ingredients introduced by Spanish colonizers like rice and indigenous Taino flavors. African contributions. We've already said that. The African diaspora brought cooking techniques and flavor profiles that are central to the dish, such as the combination of rice and peas and the use of soffrito. I feel like, What's this one? This is from, I'm just looking up websites that have this. How did gandules first arrive in Puerto Rico? The Puerto Rican history of arroz con gandules starts in Africa. Like rice and coffee, pigeon peas are a culinary treasure, hand carried across the ocean to the New World by enslaved West Africans, forcibly stolen people from the Yoruba and Igbo tribes in Nigeria, and the Bantus from the Guinea were sailed to the island starting in the early 16th century to work the backbreaking fincas of Spanish landowners. They brought dried pigeon peas, an essential part of their African diet, to forestall hunger and remind them of home. And yet, the gandul is not original to Africa either. Excuse me. Historians trace the plant to India. This is interesting. What website is this? This is the Familia Kitchen by Kim Cavanes. Thank you, Kim. She got receipts. She said historians trace the plant to India starting 3,500 years ago. Through trade, the native legume known in India as tuar dal made its way to Africa. As proof, pigeon peas were found in an Egyptian grave dating to a time before 2400 and 2200 BC. Several millennia later, the pigeon pea first arrived to Puerto Rico, which proved to be an ideal cultural climate for the shrub. Why is arroz con gandules so popular with Puerto Ricans? Thanks to the island's year-round tropical conditions, gandules acclimated fast. The plant thrived in Boricua soil and humidity conditions, requiring minimal care. It is a perennial, meaning it lives longer than 1 year, unlike other plants, and is abundant in yield, producing 2 or 3 harvests of flowers and pods annually. Okay, I might need to grow some pigeon peas. One bush could give off hundreds and even thousands of protein-rich beans, becoming a protein source for even the most in-need Puerto Ricans to forage and feed their families reliably. Did I put seasoning in this? I know I did the I know I'm not supposed to keep opening this up because I'm gonna mess it up. I don't remember if I did the Tony's and I didn't taste it. I don't want this to be unseasoned. I do not want anybody's grandmother, namely my own from the grave, I'm putting my Tony's in here. Not gonna get me. Not today. I'm putting onion powder, extra onion powder, and garlic powder, and I put my Tony's. I'm gonna stir it one more time. Oh, I'm messing it up, aren't I? I'm not messing it up. It's fine. It's fine. But I know one of the rules is once you set your rice, leave it alone. Better. It's better. I don't even have a timer. Anyway, okay. Excuse me. One bush could give off hundreds and even thousands of protein-rich beans, becoming a protein source for even the most in-need Puerto Ricans to forage and feed their families reliably. Because Puerto Rico was a dirt poor mostly. I don't like this languaging, ma'am. Because Puerto Rico had been colonized so strongly, agriculturally and otherwise, fixed it for you. Until the 1940s, gandules were an important dietary supplement. They kept many families from starving. and are very much appreciated in Puerto Rico to this day. Gandules are incredibly nutritious with a very high protein content and enough iron to restore an anemic person's hemoglobin to normal levels in a very short order. Well, excuse me, which is the reason in Puerto Rico until the 1940s they were fed a large quantities to women who had lost a lot of blood in childbirth. Cooks on the island learned to put pigeon peas and rice together in a savory dish that quickly became part of the Puerto Rican diet. As with so many other Latino dishes, using humble ingredients. I don't like this languaging, man. I don't. They're just ingredients. Just relax. Using ingredients like discarded animal parts in sancocho, cooked in the Dominican Republic, and the cactus petals used to make nopalitas in Mexico. Arroz con gandules was taken up by the wealthy as well. We need to have a whole class on how we talk about indigenous foods in the media, because I do not think that people, I'm not blaming this lady, but we demonize people who are able, and we're going to say indigenousness, people who understand food and put ingredients together because they know about food mixing for nutrition. We demonize people who don't have a lot of money, when that whole money mindset and that greed mindset of ownership and colonization came from a very specific group of people that were not indigenous to the lands that they took over. And so this energy, this colonized mind, and how we talk about things, humble beginnings and humble original beginnings and original ways of doing ingredients before they were gentrified. I just need everybody to come all the way down. And there was absolutely no need to talk about poverty, because poverty didn't exist until colonization existed. People just vibed. So I'm just going to say that. I don't even know why I am continuing to read this lady, because she just irritated me. Anyway, today, arroz con gandules remains a holiday staple that connects tables across the island, regardless of class or geography. And it's not just for December, gente. It's not just for December, gente. We invite you to follow the lead of many Puerto Ricans. Oh, and make this dish for Thanksgiving as an alternative or wingman side to the traditional mashed potatoes. Nobody. I feel like I speak for everybody when I say nobody is switching out mashed potatoes. I like the two can coexist. The mashed potatoes and cream corn. The dish is delicious, especially if you are serving it with pavo chon, which is a Puerto Rican style whole turkey, or pasteles. What's pasteles? Anyway, one last December detail about pigeon peas. The high season for harvesting gandules falls in December. Did not know that. Just in time for holiday cooking. Freshly picked gandules started showing up in Noche Buena and Three Kings menus. Luckily, for all its fans in Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Panama, and other Latino Caribbean countries. What is that? Puerto Rico. Coconut sweetened one from Panama. All right. So give me a moment. Give me a moment. Give me a moment, okay? Give me a moment. Give me a moment, okay? All right. Here we go. We're just waiting. ready for all right, I found it.
Basically, bomba was developed mostly around the 1500s to 1600s.
That early on, wow.
Yes, by the enslaved people that were brought during the slave trade and the colonization of Puerto Rico. And also, before the Spanish came here, there were a native indigenous people, Taínos.
Right, right.
And so bomba is actually a mixture of the different ethnicities that came to the island.
It's a fingerprint of
Puerto Rico.
Enslaved Africans created bomba more than 400 years ago, not only as a form of music, but as a way to share secret messages. Certain moves or beats became codes and could be a protest or even a shout-out that they were plans to do something like open up a can of whoop-ass and rebel. Now, when the colonizers finally got a clue about subversive messages buried in the beats, the ongoing battle to silence movements of independence began and have continued into modern times.
It was gag laws.
It is.
Implemented like in the 50s.
In the 50s, 1950s,
Yeah,
that late.
not that long ago.
Yeah, yeah.
Police
Just to
would
break it
come,
up.
arrest people, you know, it wasn't permitted. Bomba represents that resistance to oppression by governments or other countries as well.
The families just held on to it.
They kept it together and they kept the bomba going, but in private spaces and family spaces. So
in secret. Puerto Ricans have been fighting colonialism for 5 centuries. The U.S. took the reins from Spain in 1898. Since then, whenever there's been a push to become an independent nation, both the U.S. and Puerto Rican governments have said, not so fast. I mean, get this. You see this flag? Pretty, right? But as recently as the 1950s, it was against the law to fly it anywhere in the country. Why? Because it was a symbol of independence. The band is gone now, but so is the original flag. The shade of blue was changed to match the good old stars and stripes. But through it all, bomba has survived. It's incredible how sometimes culture can disappear, but a few people can bring it back to life and then it has a whole new existence.
when we talk about bombas, we have the drums and they actually have 2 roles. We have one that keeps the groove going. We call that buleador. And
Buleador.
we also have primo. He's the one who actually provides notes on the drum. There's also the bate, the space where we play, which is Taino.
Mate, yes.
Bate is basically the center of the community. Anybody from the community can come learn and play.
Right. So it's open. It's open to
Yeah, it's a
everyone.
very open
Yeah, yeah.
bate.
Every Friday, we play our hearts out.
And so you're going to do that tonight. You're going to play your heart
We
out.
are. We can take you there.
Oh, I can't wait.
But I would like to show you some steps so
Yeah,
you can...
please, so I don't
so you can have some fun.
unarmed.
Okay, let's do it. If we're to be dancing, I say hello to the drum, and I will move.
Yo, this is totally off the chain. There's a call and response between dancer and drummer. You're not dancing to their beats. The drummer plays the beats that go with your steps. So he has to keep up with you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You're setting the tone and
I
the
need
beat.
to be
Right.
what he's doing.
Come on. Every rhythm has a step. This one is the basic step for Sika. You put your point, side, point, side. Now quick, point, side, point. There you go, that's a basic step. And now we're just gonna move through this place. We call this el paseo. It's like taking a stroll.
Right.
So when you're ready to start, you look for la primo, you salute, primo, and let's start carrerita. There you go. Quicker now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now jump. Say goodbye.
That was hot. That was hot, man.
Yeah.
You ready?
That was good. That was nice.
So you're good?
Yeah, yeah, real good.
So do you want to go to the bate?
yeah, let's go to the bate.
Let's go. Now you'll see all the people gathered here, and they'll sing their heart out.
Oh my God, it already sounds incredible.
Yeah, man.
Walking toward the batey, the ceremonial space, is an emotional experience. And it's easy to see how this community has kept bomba alive by continuing to pass it down to future generations.
This is my favorite classy gift to give.
When is dancing a protest?
When it's bomba.
Bomba is a traditional genre of music and dance from Puerto Rico and has made an appearance at many recent Black Lives Matter protests.
In bomba, dancing and protest are inextricably linked. Surprised? Once you understand the music, it makes perfect sense.
So now that we know bomba's influence today, let's talk about where it came from. And to do that, we have to go back about 400 years. Last year, our friends from If Cities Could Dance traveled to Puerto Rico and filmed this footage for their episode on bomba dancing. Make sure you check out that episode on their channel.
Bomba was developed in the 16th century by enslaved Africans in Puerto Rico. Enslaved communities would gather to make music, using rhythms and dance to express themselves. They told stories, shared news, communicated revolts, and connected with each other. This process of gathering through bomba was known as bambula, a practice of re-remembrance, re-remembering where you came from and your own sense of humanity. In other words, they created culture and affirmed their humanity, and that is a powerful form of resistance.
How would you describe bomba to people who haven't heard it before, or who haven't heard of it even?
So bomba is the oldest genre of Puerto Rico, tracing back to our African roots. It tells the story of our ancestors. It is meant for healing. It is a time-traveling genre. And it's black music.
Yes.
Bomba's roots largely come from Africa, but like so much of Latinx culture, is a blending of elements from many regions. While most bomba songs are in Spanish, some have words and phrases in other languages, including Haitian Creole and Kikongo. The use of long ornate skirts as bomba costumes also shows incorporation of Spanish influences in bomba today. The Taino were the indigenous people of Boriquen, their name for the island that is now Puerto Rico. That's also the reason many Puerto Ricans prefer the term Boricua. Taino influence in bomba shows up in terms like batey, which refers to the dance space.
The use of a single gourd-based maraca also shows Taino influence.
The maraca is used to keep time and is often played by the singer. Guas are sticks, often played against the side of a barril, or the drum used for bomba.
Can you talk about the significance of the barril or the drum in bomba and like why this specific drum is used?
The barril, I would say in Spanish, but in English it's barrel. It's made out of a barrel. So it's made out of a rum barrel, cheese barrel, whiskey barrels, like whatever type of barrel you could think of, it's made from that. That's what we had when those enslaved Africans came from the motherland into the Caribbean.
Yeah.
And then they needed their resources because they had all these rhythms, so they used their resources that they had. And what we use when it comes to the skins, it's goat skin.
Yes.
So now we're talking about a type of drum that relates to the djembe family.
Yes.
All those African-based drumming.
So, what makes the rhythms of bomba bomba? First, there are two types of bomba drums.
The lead drummer is known as the subidor or primo and plays a higher pitched barril. The other drummers play a buleador and keep a steady rhythm called a buleo. While that steady rhythm is going, a dancer enters the batey by doing a paseo, walking around in a circle to mark their space, ending with a salute to the primo.
One of the most surprising things about bomba is that the lead drummer's job is actually to follow.
As the dancer begins to dance, the primo follows their movements with the drum, striking to the rhythm of the dancer's steps. It's a conversation. Dancers use common dance moves and improvisations to express their thoughts and emotions. The drummer watches closely, anticipating, following, and giving voice to their movements with the drum.
For the enslaved people who created the music form, bomba was one of the only vehicles they had to express themselves freely and to feel powerful. Reclaiming their sense of humanity and self-determination was an act of resistance. Bomba has a collection of rhythmic patterns, each used for different purposes or emotions. For example, sika means the act of rising up. Gwembe is to restore balance. Seis corrido is a faster rhythm traditionally played in Loiza. Yuba is good for releasing negative emotions like sadness and anger. It refers to an ancestral ritual of cleansing space and self. You can feel that in the heaviness of the last beat in the pattern. I know Sika, Gwembe, Seis Corrido, and Yuba, but what's the other one you said?
Hollandais. Just hearing it, Hollandais is influenced by the Dutch.
Okay.
The way we dance Hollandais is mimicking the slave owners, how they dance.
Whoa.
Yo.
So how we dance Hollandais is influenced by them.
Bomba lyrics are simple and reflect daily life. Singers also take influence from the drumming and the dancing that they see in front of them.
Generally, the lead singer will start singing a short chorus. The chorus is repeated by others as the lead singer adds improvised verses in between.
The chorus, the people, the community responds. And then I start storytelling. Le canto bomba a mi familia desde Chicago a Guayama. And so I start talking. So there are some songs that are written, right? But there's also this beautiful aspect of singing bomba where you are just in the zone. You're there. Mm-hmm. We got so many beautiful bomba songs everywhere that are traditional, that are written. We also have space to improvise.
That call and response format is another example of African influence in bomba music. It's also one reason that there's always a place for everyone at a bombazo, and audience members are often participants. Throughout the Puerto Rican diaspora, there are families, schools, and performance groups keeping bomba alive and passing the art form to new generations.
Today, people who practice bomba continue to use it as a platform for awareness, resistance, and pride. Bomba is much more than a dance or a music. It's a way of life.
Talk about the significance of bomba to you.
Bomba is life. And especially I was raised in this tradition. You know, I was raised to just one person. Definitely influenced by my grandfather. Bienvenido Ayala, but everybody knows him as Benny. Unfortunately, I just lost him a week and a half ago.
Oh, wow. So, I'm sorry to hear that, bro.
Yeah, thank you.
In the Cepeda family of San Juan, one of Puerto Rico's most famous bomba families, the music has been passed down for 8 generations, and the Cepedas are known for having created the first bomba school. In recent years, bomba has been a balm for those suffering from the aftermath of Hurricane Maria. After the storm, people gathered to dance bomba as a way to express their feelings of pain and loss and come together as a community. And now, bomba is an integral part of Black Lives Matter movements throughout the Puerto Rican diaspora.
Loiza is the center of Afro-Boricua culture on the island. After the murder of George Floyd, Loiza was one of the first Latin American communities to organize demonstrations. Bomba and plena were central to their vigils and protests.
Why do you think Bomba has been so present in Black Lives Matter movements lately? Is it that authenticity, that community? I feel like there's so much.
The reason why we're out here protesting Black Lives Matter is because we are reclaiming our spaces. You know, when we say black, there's our Afro-Latinos, Afro-Latinas. There's so much to what black means. This is the music that existed when we were oppressed, and we're still oppressed. So this is a way that we need to stop that oppression and to bring new ways of thinking. We're authentically us, beautiful in our skin, no matter the color of our skins. But when we bring bomba, we're talking about black roots.
Whether traditional or fused with other styles, bomba is a reclaiming of Puerto Ricans' African heritage and a way of countering racism and other injustices in their communities and in the world. What aspect of bomba do you find the most interesting, or what aspect of bomba music do you respect the most?
I feel like I came very much into my black identity later than most of my peers, especially being Puerto Rican. You know, bomba's Puerto Rican, but there's a lot of anti-blackness everywhere, especially though in Latino cultures, and I feel like people don't think about it. But you know, when you think Puerto Rican, you think J-Lo, you think Mark Anthony, you think like, you know, first of all, I'm black, look at me, I'm black, but also like this is my culture, and I found it through music, and so it's like an archive. You know, and I think it's so cool. It felt kind of like when you do one of those ancestry tests and you're like, wow, you know, it felt kind of like that for me. It's just so illuminating that there are so many people that share these stories and share these histories, and like, you know, that is part of what has made me the person that I am, and that's like my history.
Soundfield finally has a Patreon where you can support us. Get behind-the-scenes concert footage and early access to every new episode. Link in the description.
All right. Did you learn something new? I always wanted to learn more about bomba specifically, and I think I just unlocked a new feature for these Sunday dinner conversations, because I was very clear when we started this that I wanted to have cultural elements. And we do have on Wednesdays, we do talk a little bit about, not only we learn more about how to learn Spanish, we learn about, depending upon the guests that I bring in, we just learn new things about, you know, traveling and Spanish specifically. But culture is a really big part of this journey for me specifically. Is this ready? This might be ready. So that was cool. Hold on. It's not quite ready yet. So what did you think about that? Learning about bomba specifically. I knew that bomba had African roots, and I've seen things before about it, but it's interesting watching Puerto Ricans of every melanation, as far as complexion is concerned, reclaiming bomba and recognizing their African heritage. And it's really dope because this country specifically has so much anti-blackness. And I understand that a lot of it is for survival. When just, if you look historically, lighter skinned enslaved people were pitted against darker skinned enslaved people. Just in our culture, we would say something like, I'm talking about just black people, we would say house Negro, field Negro, and not recognizing that both of those designations were enslaved. There was nothing better or worse. It was just like levels of proximity to getting better treatment for bad treatment. Do you get what I mean? It's like polishing poo. It's still poo. You know what I mean? So this is interesting. I love to see it. And I love that they're, shout out to PBS for producing that segment. And then shout out also to John Lugazano. I'm not saying that man's name right, but shout out to to our brother from another mister, John Leguizamo. That's how you say his name, right? John Leguizamo. Anyway, shout out to him too for doing a series on Bomba. I learned something new. Did you? So maybe we just unlocked a new something for these Sunday dinners. I did not plan in my brain because the last 3 times that we have done this Sunday dinner, I was pretty much talking the whole time because there was so much prep going on and figuring things out in real time. There was never a scenario like this where we're literally just everything is done. There's nothing else to chop. And we're just waiting on the rice to be cooked, and I did not even consider, I had brown rice on hand, so I used brown rice. I did not even, and I soaked it. I did not even consider brown rice takes longer than everything. So we learned something new about Bomba. And I love the John Leguizamo segment because the guy actually broke down how to do the steps. And then the second one where the guy was talking about how some of the dancers are making fun of the slavers, the enslavers, the human traffickers, That's dope. Because that means Bomba is petty in some ways. And I love that. I love that for us. I think he said this one. They're making fun of how the enslavers dance. And there's one move where you have one foot in front of the other and you're just kind of like doing this. That's cool. I'm so excited to go to Puerto Rico. Speaking of, we have, for those of you who are new, the details are still forthcoming, but until we actually we have over a year, so we have time. But I don't want to call it our first class trip because I feel like we're going to have other things going on. I'm working on a new travel agent situation, and we're going on a cruise in December to Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic. Not only is the brand sexy, I've already said this before, it is a very reputable brand. It is not an American brand, and it is adults only, and it's all inclusive, including the Wi-Fi. So working on that behind the scenes. And we're wanting these trips, these class trips that we go on for adults. These are adult class trips. We're wanting them to be steeped in culture, especially Afro-Latino culture. So I'm grateful for that second video that talked about Laito, Laito, I believe that is the community that is mostly steeped in the African history of Puerto Rico. I don't know if I said that correctly, but that's how I heard it, and repeating it now in my head and out loud. So I'm interested in, as we continue to plan these trips, that there is some aspect where we get to immerse ourselves in the African history of the island, Puerto Rico and Dominican Republic. And I watched something earlier today. I want to look at this again. I watched something earlier today where a young woman on Instagram, and I thought that was the video I was going to play, but one young woman on Instagram was talking about how she was talking about anti-Blackness amongst Dominicans, and I think she said all sorts of things. There are lots, and there's anti-Blackness everywhere, and we recognize that a lot of that energy is around survival, and we also recognize that Spanish is not the original indigenous language of any of these Spanish-speaking places. We are learning Spanish, in our adult ages because that's where we ended up. But we recognize that Spanish is not what we spoke before we got to these places that colonized us, that human trafficked us and forced us to learn these languages. And so even Spanish culture is not ours. So that's just like an interesting place to come to. If people are starting to recognize, wait a minute, I'm puffing my chest up like I speak Spanish and I'm a lighter skin or whatever the case, but that was all intentional to divide the people. And we see that playbook everywhere. We see the playbook everywhere that colonization took place. And so just having that information and switching up our energy, like, wait a minute, somebody with more melanation is not my enemy. You know what I mean? All right, let me see. There's still water in here, so I don't know. It's softer. It's almost done. It's almost done. It's almost done. So this has been interesting. I also want to let you know that on this coming Wednesday, we will not be having Spanish Club because I will be traveling. So this will be our, I'm still not sure if I will be back in time for a Sunday dinner next week. And I'm trying to decide if we're just going to take next week off and wrench back around the week after that because of my schedule. But, and there may be something I can do as far as like pre-recording something or doing a replay. Do we want to do that? This is not a show. This is a club. So I don't want to like treat this like a show. Like, so if sometimes, you know, the meeting is canceled and you wait till next time. You know what I mean? We'll figure it out. But definitely this coming Wednesday, we are off. And we will be back around maybe for Sunday. Maybe. And maybe not. So I'm going to, while we waiting on this rice, I didn't even think, but I'm learning something new every time. Like I did not even think like with the mofongo, I didn't think I was going to be taking an entire hour fighting with plantain. I didn't think that. And we made it to the end. And then I was like, well, I'm using a blender. It turned out, as I think I shared last week, my sister friend from Nigeria, she said, girl, we've been using blenders. We've been moved that one off. Nobody's sitting there pounding that. She says labor intensive. And I don't want to say nobody, but I thought I was doing something. So we do blenders. So that's good. And then when I made the kimbombo, I don't remember that I had a hard time with that, but that came together very quickly. By the time all the ingredients were in the pot, we were chit-chatting and it was done. Now I'm learning, as someone who cook, I use rice. I use the rice cooker for rice nowadays, so it didn't cross my mind that I was like, wait a minute. Just as we started this process, I was like, wait a minute. And then brown rice takes forever. So you got to look at, oh, you want to see what it looks like? Of course you do. Because I have my newfangled phone thing. So I lifted it up a little bit because it had the holes like rice often does when it's almost done. But where are we? You see it? I didn't need to lift it up, but I did. I mean, I did need to lift it up because I needed to see. but it looks very good. And you see the holes, what I'm talking about? Can you see? So it looks good. The rice is hot though. This tastes really good though. I'm afraid to mix the whole thing up. And I don't know if this is supposed to be like dry. You know how some rice is dry and some rice is juicy. The one girl that I saw making it, I didn't watch her whole process because you know how people do edits now. I purposefully do not want this to feel like a show. This is not a show. I don't want there to be edits. I am gonna edit the whatever that little bloop of commercial was when I played that video. Thank you, YouTube. But I don't want this to feel like a show. I want this to feel like a meeting, like we're coming together doing stuff together. You know what I mean? And I'd really like to have music in the background. I really like to have people here. I really like for us to be in the camera and tasting food. This is good. I really would like it to feel like a vibe, but we're getting there. We're only in our 4th week. We already got 13 members. I think I told you that. All right, so the rice at this point is steaming. I feel like I'm gonna stir it now. I love a good, ooh, this looks delicious. All right, so I'm gonna put this down so you can see. I waited for my soul to tell me when it was time. You see it? And this is juicy. This is juicy rice. And the color is gorgeous. I think it looks mushy. Maybe I put a little bit too much water. And maybe the rice isn't, you know, this looks mushy. I made rice porridge. Oh, boo. I mean, it looks good, but it's, maybe that's why you don't use brown rice for this. Maybe that's why you use white rice, because it doesn't take as long. All right, give me a moment. I'm going to get a plate. A bowl. All right, this is supposed to be arroz con gandules. I don't know if I was successful. All right, so this is my, I don't remember that ladies that I saw, but she used white rice. This recipe called for brown rice, and I soaked my rice. So I feel like, I don't know. I don't know what I did. All right, so this is my arroz con gandules. Hold on, I'm gonna take a taste. Bless it. I'm so grateful for this food. I'm so grateful for this food and the hands that prepared it. And I'm grateful for the hands that made it possible for these hands to prepare this meal. May we always feel blessed to be able to share a meal and to nourish our bodies in divine right ways. And so it is. Amen. All right. So I don't like this. It looked mushy. But we're going to try it and see if, regardless of its look, if it tastes good. The rice is cooked. Thank God for small favors. I thought that this was supposed to be like, oh, maybe this is why they're saying that one thing that I read said that you could switch this up for mashed potato because it's supposed to be mushy. I don't think so. I always saw rice. But I also say that there are lots of ways to make rice. Like, this is not jollof. Jollof has that very specific, you know what I mean? Ricey texture. I don't know. It's good. I like the olive. It's seasoned well. Thank goodness for small favors. Maybe when I stirred it too early, I messed it up. It feels very warming. The pigeon peas kind of melt in your mouth. Is that because they came from a can and they weren't dry? The pigeon peas they're very soft. If I make this again, I'm gonna make it with white rice, and see if it turns out different. I actually don't mind that this is soft. Hot. But it's giving, this is delicious. Everything that I have tasted so far that we have cooked in this space has been really good. I really like this series, this part of it. And I actually look forward to Sunday dinner, because not only are we learning something new, my palate is changing. Learning about the African influences in Afro-Caribbean cooking, even though I knew about it in, intellectually, actually doing the thing, realizing that my ancestors, from the very first ancestor, created these dishes. And I have the privilege of being in my kitchen, a free Black woman, making these same dishes and enjoying them, and then getting to taste the influence. I wonder, I never asked, but I wonder where the olives come in. This is really good. Okay. It's soft. I will be eating this for the rest of the week. I don't think I did it right, but it tastes good. So there's that. It's spicy. You can feel the heat. It has a nice chew to it, a nice bite. The color is gorgeous. And, brown rice is whole grain, so there's that. It's really good. I hope to make this again. So, we made arroz con gandules. So, prayerfully, you had a good time. You made a dish, or you come back to this whenever you were watching this. You come back to it and you go, you know what? I think I'm gonna make me some arroz con gandules with envy. I'm gonna use some rice and some soffrito and some tomato paste and some olives and some pigeon peas, and you got yourself a meal. We learned today about the history of gandules. They come from West Africa. Well, actually, they come from India. And through trade, they ended up in West Africa, and the West Africans took them to Puerto Rico. We learned that today. We also learned a little bit about bamba and the history of bamba and how bamba is used for resistance, and the link between bamba and Black Lives Matter and how the people use the dance and the drum as a healing technology. Dope. We learned a lot today, and I'm really grateful for this space. So, like I said, next Wednesday for Spanish Club meeting, we will be off. So, I will see you either on Sunday or the following Wednesday. If you would like to join Club Star People, it is free to join. There are a membership dues tiers if you got it. I understand the times are strange, so I'm not out hearing. But if you got it and you know, Spirit is moving you to help us continue to do this work for our language, fitness, and travel club, please feel free to do so. I am going to go now because we have completed this task of home ec, and I feel like if there were other people in this room who were also doing home ec, there would be so many different variations of how this turned out. And I don't know if I would get an A or a C. I wouldn't get an F because I did complete it, but I'm not clear if I would get an A or a C for this. It tastes good. It's one of those, nailed it. Anyway, so patreon.com/envymckee, patreon.com/envymckee, patreon.com/envymckee. This video will be up in a minute. Not a minute. It'll be up at some point. And, you know, I'll see you next time. I love you. Buenas noches. Adios. I'll see you next time.
I wanted a Spanish club, so I'm making a Spanish club. And I want to learn about Afro-Puerto Rican culture. I want to learn about bamba. I want to learn about salsa. I want to go to Puerto Rico. I want to go to the Dominican Republic. I want to go to all the places, and I want to be fluent in Spanish. And so if you want to be fluent in Spanish, this is the club for you. There'll be elements that you have to do yourself. Like I said, I'm using Pimsleur. You can use Pimsleur. If you don't want to use Pimsleur, you can use whatever you want because I'm not over your shoulder helping you practice. I like Pimsleur because it's 30 minutes a day. And this is not an ad. It's 30 minutes a day, 30 days in a month. And then you finish Spanish 1. And then we move on to Spanish 2. So in 4 months' time, we'll be ready for Bad Bunny. In 5 months' time, we'll be ready for Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic. Again, the next element of this is working out. If you don't want to work out, you don't have to work out. But I personally want to look and feel my best for these trips that we're going on in 2026 to all these Spanish-speaking places. And I want to look great for the cameras and all the things. So I'm working out. Again, you can go to patreon.com/envymckee and you can read about Club Star People. And all the things that I talked about in this video are highlighted in a physical document that you can read at your leisure.
Le dan el sabor y los gitanos le dan el sabor.